Hello everyone! Welcome for this new episode of Timeout from Tamriel. Hi Deltia.
What's up, what's up?
Hello
Sid?
Citric.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Doing good. Sunday fun day. Holidays rolling around. I can eat whatever I want. Life's good.
Yeah, you must be happy. And
Oh my god.
your screen match, you have the color, the green screen, the red chair, the red t-shirt.
Color coordinate, baby. Fashion's endgame.
You just need the beard, you know, the white one.
I'm not man enough. I can't grow a Sigtrix beard. I got little boy facial hair.
Well, Nikki was thinking that too, and he managed to grow it. Anyway, what are we speaking about today?
We got so this week's topic is speculating on ESO in 2012.
2012.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. 2018. I'm tired.
We're flying back, you know, before the release of ESO.
Yeah. We're really getting ground level in the podcast. All right, 2012. Now, Loa, you like basically researched all this stuff. I'm gonna put a link in the chat here on some datamined stuff that I found.
Yeah. So what we want to speak to you guys is about the fact. First of all, we know the structure of the release of DLC that has been announced by ZeniMax, so it's official. First quarter, we have a content DLC. That's a fact. Second quarter, it's a chapter, like Morrowind. So bigger things that you will have to pay. Be ready for that. You will have to pay it if you want it. Third quarter is the dungeon DLC. So you will have 2 dungeons, like Shadow of the East or the last one. Don't remember the name now, but the North Pack. And fourth quarter, it will be a content DLC. Again, like Clockwork City, Thief's Guild, etc. So that's one fact. Second fact, ZeniMax have said nothing officially about anything coming. There's zero information coming from them. But there's a lot of data mining. So there's things that are suggested through Morrowind and through Clockwork City that some action will happen in the Somerset Island, in particular in the island of Alinor. There's also some information data mine regarding this. There's some quest that has been published in the Imperial Library. And then you have also some other data mining, but that's more about the feature, like Transmog and the Skillet Resort.
Yeah. Transmog, come on.
And then you also have other facts that are the asset that has already been created. The realm of Mephala has already been created. We have seen a video long time ago. You have seen some asset in the Cradle of Shadow. And it is known that Mephala is about the plot, about the Daedra. It has been announced at the end of the story of Orsinium, sorry for the spoiler, but it's not a spoiler after 2 years anymore, that a big Daedric war will start with the opening of the door of Clockwork City. The door of Clockwork City just opened, so now we will have other stuff. And Mephala is the only Daedra of the 3 that has not been, that has not shown her face. So it's possible that we will see her. Murkmire, also it's a very long time that ZeniMax had been working on them. They have the asset. We've seen them in Dark Brotherhood, and we have seen them in Shadow of the East. No, not so much there, but in the Maelstrom Arena, there's some assets from that. In Homestead also you have the Grand Topaz Island, which contained the Argonian asset. So that's about the fact.
All right. So that's a lot to dig into. So, well, they have like a content cadence that they kind of been sticking to that's been successful, right? You know, it's like a patch which brings them to like a new zone that may or may not include like a dungeon or 2, or they have another patch that may include a trial. Then they have another patch that like might be another zone with a dungeon, and then it's like a big, huge whatever expansion,
Chapter.
whatever you want. Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't see them changing up that model, specifically if they made tons of money off Morrowind, and it seemed like it brought a lot of players in. But for the longevity of the game, I don't think that really works. Here's why: champion points continue to rise, okay, and it becomes the player gap between starting out and being at endgame continues to widen. you're going to hold on to your customers like me or you that play all the time. You know, even if you play 1 hour a week, you're going to hold on to those customers because you're not falling behind that much. But what about the new players that want to join the game? You know what I mean? They're so far behind. What, you start the game, you play for a few hours, you're like, I have to get 690s of the champion points? Why would I do all these patches?
This is a problem on two different sides. And I really hope that ZeniMax will find a way to address. This is amusing because we're speculation for 2018, and this is one of the core problems, and I really hope they will fix that. It's this gap that Delta is just speaking. Either they scale, and that's what they do now, they scale the overworld content to those new players, meaning that the overworld content is super easy, it's extremely frustrating for a medium player like me, so not speaking even for Delta. So and that's an annoyance. That's the content is too easy in the world. It need to be easy, of course, but that easy, it's a bit underwhelming. It's sad. And then you have the PvP here. So if you're a new player, you want to PvP, you need to be competitive with the other players. So you will have to grind and to level fast. In PvE, it's not so much a problem because the content is easy enough for you to come like a tourist with 120 champion points. It's far enough to be able to do any sort of veteran dungeon. But PvP, you need to be the best because the other players are the best or trying to be. So that can be an issue.
And here's the thing, they tried to implement something similar. So Morrowind came out. Now, Battlegrounds were originally no CP. And that was interesting because a lot of people came in at that game just with Morrowind. And they jumped into PvP. Yeah, they didn't have best in slot gear and stuff like that. But they were some way relatively close in comparison to someone who has played a lot. If their skill was, you know, roughly the same. So you saw a lot of CP 50, 150. Stuff like that. Now you see those people in there, they're just a burden to your team. They get trolled quite often. You know, it's like competitive stuff, competitive patches, they make it so easy that someone can start the game, hit puncturing sweeps, and get through all the patches and DLCs, right? But what happens when it comes to the hard mode trials and dungeons and stuff like that? You're going to be working for a year solid to be able to do that?
Yeah, I could go on and on and on about CP, but the point that you guys bring up, you know, just for an example, I'll use myself. You know, I took a break from the game when IC came out and didn't play for over a year, and it took me almost a year when I came back to get from the 178 champion points or whatever I had when I came back to cap. The catch-up mechanic needs work, and you know, like what you were saying, new players now, it's going to take them a long time to catch up, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And like with what we saw with Morrowind, where, you know, power creep was an obvious issue that they had to go and fix. You can see it with the sustain changes, bringing everybody down a notch. That's just going to be a recurring thing unless CP gets overhauled. So I'm hoping for 2018 that we actually see something happen with the CP system, because as it is right now, it's a runaway train. And it needs to be addressed.
Okay, well, so I guess I got off on topic, but as far as the DLCs go, you know, I just finished the Morrowind story. Actually, I liked it. What makes it interesting for me to, like, the new zones and stuff like that, I'm like, man, like, why would I do it if there's not incentive? I'm sorry, I'm that guy. Motifs are great. You know, the public bosses, loot drops are great, but I can just buy that stuff off the vendor anyways. For me, what like holds me is like either VMA, like with Orsinium, was actually really, really good. I'm not a big single player guy, but I want something in between VMA and Dragonstar Arena, like 2-player, hardcore, you know, rewarding, basically combat rewarding, player development rewarding, build development rewarding. Because if you build something for 2 players, that'd be way different than VMA. That'd be way different than DSA. It would change the game again. So content like that, like Orsinium, I thought about what you said last episode. It really gave something for everybody, right? It had good single player, great story. Hell, I actually did that, Loa. You'd be proud of me. it had tons of stuff to collect, which was interesting. They actually had some of those appearance costume items. So even like me, someone who I had incentive to do that. They had cool titles. Like that was pretty good DLC for me. You know what I mean? And it only just had VMA, didn't have a dungeon. So like I would think getting that right out the gate this year would be really nice. Giving something to everyone, especially PvPers.
I think that's what they have tried to do with Morrowind, in the sense where you have a trial in Morrowind. So for the hardcore player, they will want to go there to get the loot from that trial and to change, you know, from what they're doing otherwise. They don't do the normal dungeon, which is a bit a shame, but I guess it's because they will want to have those dungeons done for the DLC dungeon that comes in July, August. You have obviously the big story content and everything that goes good together with exploration, gathering stuff, new crafting things, new motif, new housing stuff. And then you had this PvP part, which is the Battleground. I was thinking about, is it fair to have so much stuff behind a sort of paywall, but in the same times, if they want to have player purchasing their game, they need to put stuff for everyone. If it's just a story pack, then players like you might not want to purchase it because you do not have any incentive for the progression of your character.
Like, I think it really hinders the content, and I'll have Zig jump in here in a minute, but like, so Morrowind Battlegrounds, I'm like, why don't people play this? Well, it's be hidden behind a paywall. I'm like, well, doesn't everyone just subscribe? Well, no, Deltia, they don't. No, they don't just have it. So while you have a really good concept and you have like, you're limiting your player base significantly. So like, if they came out with these patches and stuff, I don't know how they could do it where, look, I'll spend the 15, 20, 30 bucks, or I'll subscribe to get the story, the place, the overland place. Like anything multiplayer, I'm sorry, I think it should be included in the base game. I think everyone should have access to it. If you want to keep Warden behind a paywall, fine, whatever, I ain't playing it. But I think everyone should have access to Imperial City because it's a PvP realm. Like everyone should have access to Battlegrounds because it's a PvP realm. VMA, PvE, like that's just me. You know, I know they need incentives for people to buy it, but if you want people to play multiplayer stuff, make your multiplayer base big.
Yeah, I'm torn because I agree with you, and at the same time, I know that if they want to have sale on their stuff because they need the money, sort of, they produce something good, so they want people to buy it. I understand why they do this. I don't think it's dirty. I don't think it's a dirty tactic. But I think, like you say, it's a little bit hindering about the community. Because when you want to organize an event, you need to ask people, okay, only the people that have purchased that DLC can now join my event. I'm doing that every week, so I need to make a big disclaimer. To get to this event, you need to have access to this, and it's a bit boring. I don't really know. That will not happen if the game was just a subscription-based game. You know, like you have to subscribe to it. That's my point of view, but it's another topic, I guess. And now we have to deal with the fact that it's not a sub game. So yeah.
Yeah. So what's your take on the whole like content being behind, like who has this DLC, who doesn't think?
It's kind of a strange topic for me because I don't have a problem with it at all. But you know, I've been playing online games for 20 some years now, where you pay for the content, and we're at a point in the gaming industry right now where you don't pay for the content up front, you pay for it afterwards in the form of microtransactions, in the form of DLCs, season passes, crap like that. And absolute bottom line is that the company producing this game has to be profitable for the parent company over them to keep their doors open. It doesn't matter that ZeniMax Media and Bethesda have billions of dollars. ZOS has to remain profitable for the shareholders to want to keep them open.
Yeah.
And if we're not going to be a subscription-only game, stuff has to be paywalled. As far as Battlegrounds specifically, what I feel they should have done is like one map everybody. And then if you want access to the full thing, included in Morrowind.
Or trials. What about where you get a weekend to do Battlegrounds for free?
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect, because they have to have, since the subscription is not mandatory, they have to have several methods, several avenues for people to pay into the game for it to remain profitable. And that can be Crown Store, that can be DLC, buying the ones that you want, or that can be ESO Plus. And it's, I mean, I personally don't see that they're doing anything wrong with it at all, whether we're talking about things behind DLC, for $10 or whatever it is, or excluding Morrowind from ESO Plus. I mean, people have been playing MMOs that have $40, $50, $60 expansions that come out once a year or maybe once every other year, and nobody ever complained about it, because people were getting new content. And, sure, Morrowind, Vardenfell isn't as big as, some of the expansions that other games have seen, but that's the way they decided to classify it. I don't see a problem with it myself. If we want to continue enjoying this game, they have to remain profitable. That's the bottom line.
I understand. Just, well, yeah. I lose my ID.
Well, I mean, it's personally for me, there's enough endgame. Coming from Star Wars Republic, other games like Warhammer Online, you basically had 2 to 3 outlets to do stuff. Maybe a relevant trial or whatever you wanted to call it, operation. You had some relevant war zones, a team thing, and you just picked one avenue and that's what you did. That was your thing. ESO, it's almost like a crappy Mexican restaurant. You go there and you lay out the menu and it's 700 pages long. It's bro, do I need? You got probably 5 good things in here. You've been to a good restaurant. Aloha knows this. You've been to a good restaurant. They got 5 things. They all kick ass. You go to a bad one. What happens? It's 1,000 items. Bro, it's an Italian restaurant. How many meatballs do you have?
Is this where we get Aloha yelling about Zoss's not Taco Bell?
Yeah, but
you get my point though, right?
Yes, yeah. I got your point, but the thing is that for ESO, it is a different kind of game and I kind of agree with you, but I think we have to accept the way it is. It's not World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, Star Wars, The Old Republic. The way it's built, the structure of the game, it's not built that way. You do not have the leveling process, then end game. Then you have played the end game for 2 years, then we bring you a new expansion, you level a little bit, you get to a new end game, that's the new end game, etc, etc. That's how World of Warcraft is built, EverQuest was built, Final Fantasy is built, etc. This is great because those games offer amazing end game content. But for the Elder Scrolls Online, it's not like that, because it's a mix between an MMORPG and an Elder Scrolls game. And there's a lot of people that don't give a crap about the end game. All they want to do is experience an Elder Scrolls games with their best buddy. And that's what they want to do. That's why they cater the game kinda easy. That's why they offer so much new story content that are not too hard, etc. Then we just have to take the game for it is. Personally, I accept it and I'm leveling my character in Final Fantasy, so maybe I will have an endgame that is a bit more like the old school stuff I knew in World of Warcraft. And that's it.
Yeah, we have to accept the game, and I think you brought up a good point. I visited Zoss. That'll never happen again, but it was a great experience. I think the biggest thing that I took away from that is that, I'm like, why don't they do this, 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 and this? It's because Elder Scrolls is not about me. It's not about Aloha. It's they have to make the content and stuff big for the big picture, right? Mm-hmm. The average player. And they get metrics we don't. I sit here and say, no one plays Trials. Well, they might be getting metrics that say everyone's playing Trials. What is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what it's business. That's what's driving the economy is, hey, people are buying this and they're actually doing the story first. They might go to Cyrodiil, they might do a Battleground, but it's really the story that's driving this. And even for me, as weird as it sounds, I tweeted you the other day, Aloha.
Yeah.
I go online on this game. This is what I do from now on. I go online. Are my PvP friends online? Nope. Okay, I'll go decorate my house or quest. And I'm actually having fun doing that. As like I'm burnt out. I mean, how many Troll King helms can I have? Perfect, best in slot. How many? What can I have? Now, I'll tell you the couple things that I have that have fundamentally changed the game for me is that damn transmute system. I effing love it. I mean, I got to give credit where it's due. And holy crap, it's not perfect because like PvEers get the shaft in terms of like what PvPers get, but
yeah, they do.
I don't know how to balance it, all that. But like for me, wow, I can actually do the content I want for the most part and get the gear that I need for the most part and play what I want to play. Like that wasn't a DLC. That wasn't like somebody. That was just great part of Clockwork City to me. I mean, that was a huge quality of life thing, and that brings me to that Transmog system. Now, Sig, I know we got to keep the doors open. Deltia needs subs and he needs views, or he's going to have to get a real job, right? So hey, I know all about the business aspect, but at the same time, I think that's where ZOS can make some money.
Oh yeah,
is that Transmog system?
Yeah,
is where they could either whether it's make a new currency or something like that. What do you think?
Well, I mean, there's indications out there. They've said as much that Transmog is coming, and there's been data mine stuff that shows that there's stuff in the live code right now that pertains to it. It's something that they need to do, and I'm hoping. Let's talk about speculations for 2018 here. I'm hoping it's in this first quarter update. And there's lots of ways that they can not only make it available to everybody in the game as part of a base game update, with no fee attached to it, and still have aspects of it in the Crown Shop. I'll use Lord of the Rings Online as a great example. Any piece of armor that you picked up, you could put in an outfit slot, and that's what you would see. You wouldn't get the stat benefits from it, but that's what you saw. They sold costumes. They sold armor slot specific, looks, and they sold extra outfit slots. So on your character sheet, you could have, outfit 1, outfit 2, outfit 3, 4, and you could buy those extra slots. You could configure them all to look however you wanted them to. And then you could just swap back and forth, depending on how you wanted your character to look. So depending on how they set this up, they could absolutely have a transmog system that works based on assets that are already in the game that anybody can use. They could sell costumes like they do now that play into it. They could sell cosmetic armor in the Crown Shop that plays into it. And say presets where, I've got one look that I want to use for, trials or whatever, and another one for RP or whatever you're doing. They could sell preset slots so that once you have all these configured, you can just click whichever one you want, and it changes your customization, your cosmetics. So
I'm not really sure how they will do it, because what was saying in the data mining that it's basically that you can have a different pre-selection of different style, and that will be saved, and you will need some stone, like the transmute stone, like it will be the transmog stone.
Right.
So that's the two things that we are sure, but everything else we do not know. I will be.
Don't know anything yet. Yeah.
I don't think they will include the costume. I think the costume will stay separate from that. I have the feeling that it's more related to the armor pieces. You can change the style of them. So let's say that you have the Trinimax set, but you hate the Trinimax style, so you can put Daedric one instead. Something like that.
Right. And I mean, that's the basis for the whole thing. The the talking about costumes and stuff is just, it's an example of how one game was able to make it available to everybody who played for no extra fee and still have a revenue stream through the cash shop. So they could absolutely make use, and what we've seen with the data mining is it's minute, and it doesn't really give. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't really give any solid indication of exactly how it's going to work. We just know that there's going to be some sort of a style stone involved, and possibly some sort of presets. But I like the last one on it right here: unlock new outfit, equip entry, unlock new outfit. That could be you know, different tabs on your character sheet where you have several costumes basically set up with your transmogs just to switch back and forth. But I don't know that for sure. You know, that's what it leads me to believe, but it's hard to say.
All right. So moving on. So
Okay.
what do we think is actually going to be in the next DLC?
That's a good question, because we have absolutely zero clue, and it's the first time we have so much zero clue about it. So,
All right, you go first. Guess.
Well, I think it will be related to Mephala, and we will have a sort of visit in the Mephala realm. I think it will be a sort of, it will not happen in Tamriel, but it will more happen in, you know, Oblivion, in the realm of Mephala. We will have some quests to do. Maybe we will free Darren Gauthier. It's a long time we've not heard about him anymore. So I think that's what we're going to do. Because it's smaller, so it can be, you know, a pocket of Oblivion can be smaller.
Sig?
Yeah.
I really don't know, but as long as it's not Altmer Argonian, I don't really care.
Oh, man, I want
come on.
Argonian. As long as they don't nerf my Argonian passive, not the race change 16 characters. No, I mean, I think it's going to be obvious, right? It's going to be a questing thing, but what quality of life will come with that? A lot of people are talking about jewelry crafting, stuff like that. That might be, I don't know, on the topic. I don't think spell crafting is anywhere remotely close.
No, I don't think you can dream about that for the next chapter. The next chapter is supposed to happen in January, February, or March at latest. Do you really imagine jewel crafting that ZeniMax will announce next month? Hey guys, by the way, or no, not next month, at the end of the month, next DLC it's jewel crafting. Do you think that?
No, I think what they need, it just, I mean, if they come out with a small area, get some quests, and fix the crap that they already have. I mean, I'm not a console player, I go on there sometimes, but good lord, like, the things that these people have to go through, it's like, you know, I'm not going to be console fanboy here, but honestly, like, get some of the crap fixed that you have. Look, as much as I complain about Cyrodiil, I effing love Cyrodiil, man. It's so much fun. Like, I go in there, I don't even care if I get Zerg or teabagged anymore. I'm just having fun doing it. So it's like, if people are paying for the game and they can't get it fixed, stop. Stop creating crap all the time and just fix what you have. You have great stuff right now.
That's what is the chat is speaking here on my side about the dungeon finder still not working. The Battlegrounds finder was super messy. That's one of the reasons why I didn't play Battleground, because it was pointless. I was never getting in anyway. So
yeah, the problem that Battlegrounds saw when Morrowind came out was not Battlegrounds, it was the group finder.
Yeah.
Because they decided to use the same system. And it needs, I mean, that thing needs to be blown up and reworked.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's probably what we think. Now, when you say next chapter, Aloha, you mean like the next big
yes
thing?
So that's going to happen in like May, June, and it's the equivalent of Morrowind. So same kind of size, and you will have to pay like 40-60 euro for it. You will have the collector edition, and it will probably include a big zone. It has been hinted that it will be Somerset Island, which is very possible. You will have 2 public dungeons, 6 world boss, 6 delves like usual, a main story plot, side quest. Maybe it will come with a trial or something like this, and a new system. I bet for a new weapon. Some people have wondered if there will be a new race, like the Maomer race. Why not? You know, that's possible.
A new race?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. No new classes. F new classes. Now, a new race, though? What are they going to give them? 12% max stam, 12% max magic? I did that at paywall? Come on. You know what's going to happen. I'll buy him. I don't care. Pay to win. Let's go.
Yeah.
Wrecking Kid. 90k magic.
You know, I was not thinking of that. I was more thinking of the, you know, you can play a Maomer.
Oh, you were thinking about the appearance. Nope,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about performance. You get 75% max stamina. Weird. Everyone race change, and then we made $200 million. No, the Somerset Isles would be cool. Like, I really think that maybe this is wishful thinking, but please, Lord God, do a 2-player like in between VMA and in between DSA.
I think
that's really what I want. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think a lot of people have asked for it at the release of Maelstrom Arena, so they might do something like this.
So wait, a new weapon, like RT Sizzles asked, what do you think they ever add a new weapon skill line?
Yeah, exactly. That will be because for Marines they bring a new class, right? So a lot of people say, what will be the new class for the new chapter? Necromancer, blah 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 blah. But I don't think they will bring they will bring a new class. I think they are more likely to bring a new weapon because it has been asked for a long time now, and they always say maybe later, maybe later, maybe later. It will be the best moment to bring a new weapon.
Like what would the weapon be? Like a scythe? Or like
it could be a spear. A lot of people have asked for spear and for crossbow.
My temple.
Yeah, do you imagine?
Double spear, baby. I'll have to dig him up out of the grave twice. No, I think like the skill lines is a good thing, whether it's like through the guild system or it's through the world system. But a new weapon, that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be cool. Do you imagine all the new build you could build around that? Warden spear builds. Wonder spear shield. Crossbow, Khajiit, Nightblade.
With a new race too, 100% more stamina. Anyways, okay. All right, next content. As far as the major content that we're going to see this year, what do you think it's going to be?
Like a new system in place?
I'm talking about like what is their focus? Because if we rewind things this year, I mean, let's be real, wasn't it PvE and trials? Well, I mean, what do we have? We have a couple trials. We have Morrowind had one, didn't it?
Morrowind had one trial. Clockwork City has one trial. In between, we had 2 new dungeons. I think new dungeon is maybe smarter than new trials because I have the feeling more people are using them.
Right. Dungeons, yeah. I mean, what could they really add to PvP at this point? Like, what I wanted...
to PvP, that's a hard one because they have their Battlegrounds system, then they have Cyrodiil. What can they bring more to PvP? I'm not a PvP specialist, but I have tested them, okay, right?
Here's the thing with PvP. Cyrodiil, champion points, is broken. Battlegrounds with champion points is broken. Imperial City is amazing content, and nobody looks at it. Nobody plays it unless there's an event going on. They've made, they made a change to the Battlegrounds enabled CP for data collection. That's what I believe, is for data collection to see what's happening.
Yeah.
You've got some business analyst somewhere that realizes that all these CP-enabled sardines pack themselves into the Vivette campaign and won't go anywhere else. And they're like, let's turn this on in Battlegrounds to see what happens.
But do you imagine...
PvP as a whole needs quality of life. It needs quality of life. They need, in my opinion, they need to get CP out of it completely. But they need to go in there and make Cyrodiil enjoyable again. And a lot of that is not Cyrodiil itself, but it's the combat team and the combat balance in this game. Shit needs fixed. They need to figure out a way to get people back into Imperial City on a regular basis. And they need to make it so that me with my 770 whatever champion points and Deltia with his 1100 or whatever.
It's at 1200. Okay, my EP is feeling low.
I'm still below 60. 600.
And then somebody who just hit CP 160 and somebody who just hit level 50 can all jump into Battlegrounds and be competitive with each other. That's what
based on skill. Based on skill.
That is what PvP needs.
I would like to add
gear. Not gear.
I would like to add something about this because that's also a fact that they have said during ESO Live. It's Eric Robel and his team actually. They have said that they wanted to get all classes more like the Warden, where you have a specific tree for tanking, specific tree for healing, and a specific tree for DPS. They have already reorganized the Nightblade a little bit in that direction, and they are going to work for every class like this. So every class will be efficiently working every role. I think I told that last episode. So that might be one of their ongoing effort. I also know that the design team are thinking of a way to make the difficulty. They try to solve the problem with the difficulty. You know, it's quite difficult for a new player that just play ESO for the first time, first MMORPG is like, oh my god, what I do, what skill I take, what. And then there's people like me, which is a medium player. And for me, I say, but this mob is just, I can play like a tourist, I can just, you know, auto attack, and that's it. And that's coming from me. Do you imagine a guy like Inkling that has level 25 character? It's just the overall content mean nothing for someone like that. So they need to find a system that will not be abused, and I know they're working on that. They have no solution yet, but they're working on it.
Well, the one thing they lack in this game is incentives. I mean, incentives. So let's take Cyrodiil, for instance. Cyrodiil, they come out with these towns, and these towns are actually really badass. Velastres, whatever the other ones, Shadenhall, whatever, and, you know, throw back to some of the early games. They're great. You can use them as spawn camps, okay, and that's an incentive. You can use them basically to get certain PvE pieces. That's okay, good. When I go there to fight, basically I go there, down there, take it by myself. I kill a couple PvEers, feel good about myself, and that's it. And then no one else comes. Like, there needs to be such an incentive for either the campaign or like you personally to go there. Not just to buy random PvE bags, PvP bags or whatever. But like, what if it was like instance based? It was like a 20-man Royal Rumble where like there is no alliances. You go in there, you get instanced in. It's part of the base game. You don't have to buy anything. And whoever wins, their faction gets a bonus, like 2% more spell damage. Or, I mean, just some incentive-based thing to go there, because they add this content. It's really like localized. There's cool buildings. There's cool little towns. There's NPCs going around. It feels like a little bit of Imperial City on the surface, and there's no reason to do it.
But I think they try to bring incentive by making the stone capturable.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. What is the incentive to capture it? The only incentive to capture is you get a small amount of AP and a respawn point. The respawn points can be used tactically, but there's 3 flags. Okay, so like for a solo player, I mean, it takes like 5 minutes because the things just keep respawning. So there's very little incentive strategically to spend a lot of resources taking it. So unless you're Zergy and the map's just completely full and there's nowhere else to go. So that's one incentive, but there needs to be more. Like maybe you even get a 10-minute buff that gives you 5% more spell damage, or because incentives makes people do things, right? Remember VMA, when I walked around with Flawless Conqueror, I thought I was the hot dog on my street. I mean, I went down and told everybody about it in Nebraska. I said, I got Flawless Conqueror, and VMA went before all the cool kids did. I am somebody.
I love how you say that.
In reality, that's not. I'm making fun of myself. You don't know.
Yeah.
But I was proud of myself. I walked around. Brawlka was like, yeah, you might be able to beat me in a duel, but can you get Flawless Conqueror, bro? Well, now they can. And now they can beat me in a duel too. But like, that's the thing that we need: incentives, titles, mounts. Where the F is an incentive mount?
Yeah, that's true.
No.
That has been talked.
Every game has it.
Yes, and that's because Cron Store, you know, that's Cron. They need to add super cool stuff that are not too flashy and low breaking, because sometimes it's annoying to see what this guy has. That's flashy skin with the flashy pink dress on top of his flaming astronaut mount that start to become weird. And I know that very hardcore lore fanatic of Elder Scroll. I follow a French stream for the release of Morrowind with a guy that know everything about the lore. So it's really a library, this guy. And he was playing the game and he was really puzzled. Why this is too bad. I want to play this game, but my immersion is broken by all those guys running around in their flaming astronaut stuff.
Well,
it's a difficult balance, yeah, you know?
I get the immersion, and I get that you need to sell things in crown crates. Look, a flaming guar, hey, that's hot. I want to buy it. See what I did there? But like, you could have riding a literal dog shit turd, and if it meant that you were the #1 PvPer on that server, that turd that you were riding would be the new cool thing.
Yes, I know, but that's the thing. ESO is a little bit limited because you have some game that can do that, and you have some other game like ESO that is restricted by lore. Otherwise, they will piss off a lot of people that play ESO maybe a lot more than all the PvP guy, because they are really into it. They really respect the franchise. You see what I mean?
Well, they don't have to do anything that attacks the lore in any way.
No, of course.
Implement, okay, so we'll use PvP. You hit Grand Overlord, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been in Cyrodiil forever. You hit Grand Warlord. There is no reason they can't make like a cool black horse with your faction, barding, like a saddle blanket that doesn't look like anything else available in the game.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be super fancy. It could be, but I mean, it could be as simple as a black horse with, like I play EP with a red blanket with the Ebonheart Pack logo hanging down underneath the saddle, and the only way you can get that is Grand Overlord. There's a good reason for me to spend that time in Cyrodiil working towards that title. You know what I mean? There's no reason they can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And with the housing and stuff, they can do more and more of those kind of things. The problem is that they put too much stuff in the Crown Store, not enough in the game.
And they can continue to put as much as they do in the Crown Store. It's not having specific mounts or pets even, or costumes.
More lipstick, let's be real.
Yeah. Gotta have the lipstick. But yeah, there's no reason they can't put, those different things in the game that are specific to certain achievements that you can unlock.
Or a new haircut. An haircut that you can only get if you're doing the super cool stuff. So, like super big number.
No, anything that distinguishes your character and says that, like, what you did, you earned something, or like even if you play for 2 or 3 hours, what did you earn out of that? Sometimes it's like I'm spinning my wheels in the game where I'll play for 2 or 3 hours, like what did I do? Maybe a crafting red, a dungeon, and something else. I didn't, like Grand Overlord. It's cool to have that, but would I get to buy a little chair or something for my house? Like, a black shadow mare that glowed black. Because let's be real, if you put the time in to get Grand Overlord, you're buying crap in the crown crates, or you're subscribing, you're spending money through time. You're spending money through time. So what does that take you to make? And like, what about the people that are going to hit already are Grand Overlord? What's the incentive to continue playing? You got to make that hamster wheel just a hamster wheel, bro. It never, ever ends. So I don't know. Yes, I'm sick, chat room. That's why I sound kind of funky monkey.
Yeah. Funky Monkey. This is funny.
I saw him on chat.
Okay. One wish, just one. Delta, you start.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to get into PvE again. I really like PvE, and I just don't feel like my playstyle is rewarded. Which is, I'm not that good at DPS, and I don't really feel rewarded doing it. And I really like the small group tanking thing. Like Dragonstar Arena, when I was tanking it, was like, I wasn't like a healer per se, but I could do vigor heals. I could chains and get crap off people. I could talons them. I could stun them. I would do clutch war horns. Like, I felt like every single second I was in there was impactful, and like that's what made PvE really fun to me. Not saying that content now doesn't give people that. I'm just saying for me personally. So but I kind of felt that way with VMA. I just wish I had someone else there with me, because no one can carry you through VMA. Say what you want about it, you got to press the buttons, right? Some people get carried through trials. Let's be honest. Hell, I have been. Let's be honest. So like, I want that 2-player, that unique 2-player with really good incentives, weapons, and swords and shields, or maybe even a 3-piece jewelry, something different. The item sets in this game are really, really cool. I love the effects that they have, the depth, making it great as a content creator. I mean, I'm finding sets now returning to the game that I'm like, that looks like junk. And I pick it up and someone's like, no, you gotta try it. I'm like, okay. So there's like so many combinations, even as content creators, we have barely scratched the surface, truthfully, and like how to get the most out of our characters. It's like every day I'm trying to test something quantum. every day he's like, I'm testing a new build of my Magic Knight Blade. I'm like, bro, how many gold items are you gonna make? So for me, it's like that intimate small group thing is what I like. 2 players, maybe 4, something like Dragonstar Arena, because Dragonstar Arena is timeless. It's priceless. Look at it. It was the greatest PvE experience I've had in the game, and it's still fun to do, and it's still relevant, and the gear is still useful. That's what you need: incentive, fun, and you feel like your class is rewarded. That's the PvE that I want in this game, and it has it. I just want more of it. Rant over.
Okay, Sick Trick, your turn.
Before I state my wish, I would like to say that to touch on what Deltia was talking about, they proved with the Asylum trial that you can adjust difficulty based on how you set up the fight. You know, whether you're doing the last boss +1 or the last boss +2 or splitting them out.
It's a cool
doing
system.
them one at a time. So as far as like the 2-player arenas, what I would like to see with that is just a new arena with the ability to change the difficulty based on whether you're bringing 1 person, whether you're bringing 2 people, 3 people, or 4 people. That, I mean, if they could do that, how cool would that be?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
As far as my wish for this year, I want them to fix Magicka Dragon Knight.
Okay. It's very specific. Okay.
I just want them to fix the fucking class. That's all.
Okay. As for me, I want them to fix the overall difficulty. As long as I'm enjoying new content and such, I think I will enjoy more to do the content already existing. If they were... I don't know how they can do it exactly to make it fair for everyone, but a way to make that the overworlds, you don't have to play like a tourist naked and nothing you're doing doesn't matter because you
AFK keyboard.
Yes, something like that. So
this is how I play my Templar.
I want to that when you have a mini boss in a story, that you don't just do like, oh, is that it was a boss, or it was an ad? Oh, it's the boss. Oh no, this big guy that we were hunting down, we have done an investigation about him and we just like give him a slap and he's dead. That's not proper. It's not immersive even. So I hope they will fix that.
Oh, you're killing me today. Okay. A couple chat room brought up a couple good things, like Dueling Arena. Real quick, Dueling is like almost like its own thing. Like your builds are really set up specifically around it. I think there's a really strong dueling community. Really great players that love doing. They'll sit there and do it for hours. Hell, go to Stormhaven. Like I would like there be like in the game. What I think we need more of is less theme park, more sandbox, meaning give players the tools to make their own content, but like have it so there's structured leaderboards and players can enter it somehow, or players can control it somehow, instead of like we have to go out in Cyrodiil and say, hey, you dude, go over here, you come over here, okay, let's do a duel. Or like a 4v4 tournament. I'm all for organizing that, and you know, Cypher is doing some great things too in organizing events, but if we had the tools as community members, that would keep us playing long after some new zone with Quest. I'm not saying that's not bad, but give us some tools as players to make the game fun for us. Rant.
Yeah, the guilds need to be improved. Guild tool.
Okay, so we're about closed up. I got to go to a Christmas party, get my food on. So viewers, what we're doing for next week, we are going to do Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah. Let
Right?
me set up my poll up. Where it is? I had prepared it. Damn it.
Okay. Well, while Lo was talking about that, in the top, where's my hand? Top right of this will be a poll, and when I re-release the video on my channel when it's edited, you'll have a poll as well. We're going to add both things together for you to vote on for our next topic of the week. So what we're going to do is, 1, our thoughts on Battlegrounds, not Morrowind as a DLC, but just specifically Battlegrounds, like how they were implemented, what went well, what doesn't. You know I'm going to go on rants about this, probably not positive. Versus One Tamriel update. So what we thought about One Tamriel, how it changed the game, because we never talked about that previously.
No, indeed.
So,
we could not have, because it didn't exist back then.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing this weekly. Now we may have to take a break for a holiday or something else, but if we can narrow it down for, an hour on Sundays around this time, hopefully we'll keep on going. So if you guys like this type of stuff, please, share, comment, and leave comments for like topics that you think is relevant to what's going on now or in the past or in the future of the game. And we'll do our best to select those for you guys.
Exactly. So please now vote. Right now in the corner of your screen on my Twitch stream, you can click on it and just select it. Your vote will be counted together with Delta YouTube vote and then the vote on the video afterwards. If you missed to vote now, you can go on Delta's YouTube channel like in 2-3 days, and you will find the video, the replay of this show that you can share and like, even if you have watched it already.
Watch it 5 times on my channel.
Yes, exactly. It helps us a lot. It's the algorithm of YouTube and Twitch. That's how it works. So when you do that, it really helps the content producer.
Yeah, and I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, thanks for doing this. I wish I would have kept up with it. It was my fault why we stopped, to be freely frank with you. But yeah, it means a lot that we can have these discussions, and it's just fun talking about the game. I seems like I complain a lot, but at the same time, it's like I love some of the parts of it, and if we're passionate about it, and that's what makes it great.
That's exactly what it is passion. I bag on certain aspects, but it's because I want it to succeed. And without ragging on it a bit, how else are they going to know? So.
And whatever you may think, ZeniMax is actually listening to the players, and what you're saying, maybe it will not get changed because maybe what you say is not relevant, it's not interesting enough, or it's not touching enough players, but it doesn't come on deaf ears. So
right, that's the one thing, the biggest message out to the ESO community and gaming at large is there's a difference between listening and acting on. So get your stuff out there, and they're going to see it. Whether they act on it or not, that's different. But they take the feedback into consideration. They don't ignore it. So
here we go. It's the end for this episode. Deltia, Sigtri,
all right.
Timeout.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys. Take care of yourself. See you soon, and happy holidays to all of you if we don't see you next week. Bye.